Hi, it's Elizabeth Willits here from Investing in Women, and we are joined today by Emma Stonham from the Organised Co, and we are live on Facebook and on LinkedIn. So as people are joining us, if you can let us know if you can hear us all okay, that would be brilliant. Give us a like or an emoji. But we are live today on Facebook and on LinkedIn with Emma Stonham from the Organised Co. And we're going to be talking all about how you can better organise yourself, your life, to avoid stress and overwhelm. So thank you for everyone that's joining in and joining us as you're logging in. And thank you so much, Emma, to you for joining us today. It's an absolute delight to have you. So thank you so much for giving us your time today. So before we start, do you want to talk to us a little about yourself and your business?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me. It's exciting to be here. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Emma from a company called The Organised Co. Me personally, I am a mum to 2 children myself. So I am with you there with finding the balance between working and doing all the mum life admin that you've got to do as well. So The Organised Co primarily started off as a business doing home organisation. If you've seen shows like Sort Your Life Out with Stacey Solomon that's come on, or The Home Edit on Netflix, that is what I started off doing, helping busy families calm their chaos in their home. And then it was in the summer of 2020 when I personally had some big changes in my life, realized that actually the organizational side of things fed so well into helping people in their everyday lives become less overwhelmed, less stressed, and putting that structure in place could help across the board. So I introduced that into the business as well. And that's where we are today. And that's what we're here to talk about today.
Yeah, so you do sort of the home decluttering, and then also looking at putting in systems, more virtual systems to help people in their work.
Absolutely. So anything falling under the organisational umbrella, I'm your woman.
Well, you've always done this, have you? Were you employed in a corporate before?
I was, yes. So I used to work for an accountancy firm for, like over 10 years. And I really enjoyed it. But like many of you now, found that it didn't fit in with having children and being able to work and follow my career. And it was always something that I was really interested in doing, and always something that everybody around me went to me for advice for, was organisation. So the Organised Co was born. I thought, right, I can start making a living out of this, and it fits in perfectly with the family as well.
Perfect, brilliant. So you've been doing it a little while, and then you sort of pivoted a bit in September 18 months ago. So why did you sort of go all in your business and found it?
It was the pandemic. As much with a lot of people found, I think there was 2 types of people with the pandemic, weren't there? It was those that were furloughed, and I think that made a lot of people realize what was important to them, and actually slowing down really helped. Or the other camp, which was like myself, where your job went from a normal working day to an insane day. I was a key worker at the time, and I completely burnt out. And I recently became a single mum as well at the same time. So it was personal and work. And so something had to give. And I thought, now or never. And I think it was the pandemic that pushed me to just change your priorities. And so I handed in my notice.
Okay, brilliant.
But I think that applies to a lot of people. The pandemic either helped them see what was important to them, and that actually more family time was important.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was my next question, actually. So it was talking more generally about what you think happened to people during the pandemic to make them realize that they can't do it all.
Exactly, like what I was just saying. So I think those that were key workers were kind of pushed over the limit.
Yeah.
And realized what they were trying to achieve, the homeschooling, the working all the hours, trying to keep up their homes, trying to keep up their social lives, it forced them to stop because there was no other choice. And those that were furloughed and maybe enjoyed some of the lovely summer that we had that year, I think realised, actually, I don't want to go back to feeling that stressed, and had the luxury of being able to feel that stress dissipate and having the time to fit in what they needed to. And as life's ramped back up again, everyone's found that a lot harder to deal with. And I think that's purely because social media shows everybody that everyone's doing everything when actual fact they're not.
I know. Do you know what? Like, looking back, you just think, gosh, it was exhausting what we all used to do, like pre-pandemic, you know, going into doing the commute, every morning, rushing to drop my eldest off at nursery, then driving on to get the train, getting 2 trains into work, not getting back. And it's just, look back, gosh, was just exhausting. You're just on a constant hamster wheel, and you get back tired.
And I think everyone's struggling to feel like they can't fit that in. Like, how did I used to fit that in? And I think the answer is you didn't, and you were on such an adrenaline and so stressed that actually once you came down from that, that's what made you realize that no, that's not normal to fit that much into your day. And then in creeps the guilt, thinking, well, everybody else can fit it in, why can't I fit it in? But actually they're not fitting it in.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you know what, like, social media said, you know, it was one of these things, you know, you look at other people and you think, God, they're having an amazing life. But actually what was quite nice about social media when it was, you know, proper first lockdown, we just saw people just at home and just chilling out, actually not doing a lot. And then that was quite nice and quite a unifying experience as well.
Absolutely. I think everyone started to be a lot more honest with how they were feeling across social media, whether everyone had more time to be on there and going, wow, okay, yeah, something's got to change. And I think there's been this big push forward from so many different places now to teach everybody that it's okay not to do everything. And you can make everything work, but you've just got to let go of certain things.
Yeah, so they're talking about, you know, the Great Resignation. They keep mentioning that. So, actually that leads on to our next question. So we're talking about letting go. So I think a lot of women are guilty of having quite high standards when it comes to perfectionism and things like that. So is there anything that affects women specifically in regards to perfectionism and letting things go and learning to delegate? And what advice would you give?
Oh, I mean, for starters, mum guilt is real, isn't it? I mean, we all have mum guilt. So that's straight away. Doesn't matter what you do. I think that's built in as soon as we have children, is mum guilt's there no matter what. So, but then society is telling us that we've got to be at home, we've got to be great mothers. But then also there's us trying to prove that we can have the careers too. And we want to show that, you know, we deserve our place up there. And I think it's ourselves that are pushing us to be perfectionists. And once you start to take that down as to, you can do it all, but you only have 24 hours in a day. And that's what I work with clients to show them, is how to organize their 24 hours day to align with their goals. Because doing everything doesn't have to mean having the career and the family and a side hustle and keeping up your home and going on a day out all of the time. Society may show us that that's what we should all be doing. I think there's a meme that I keep seeing that we're expected to be amazing full-time mums. We're expected to be amazing full-time employees. I can't remember the meme, but it makes me laugh every time.
Yeah.
And you just can't be.
Yeah. Someone said, Clara said, she hears this so much in therapy and coaching sessions, people saying, what is wrong with me? Why am I failing at this?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's what I speak to a lot of clients. A lot of clients come to me and the initial conversation is, can you make me more productive? I need to fit more into my day. And it's always really shocking when I go back to basics. I'm like, actually, you need to write down what you do achieve in your day. Write it all down. And actually, once you've got that in pen and paper, you can actually see for yourself, wow, okay, I'm doing a lot more than I thought I was doing, or this is where all my time's going.
Yeah.
And then start to align that with actually what you do want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think actually it's quite, someone that like yourself that's sort of set up their own business. You've got a lot of advice on things like time for money and how it's really good to delegate within business and play to your strengths, and that's the way you'll feel less stressed, achieve more, etc. I think there's a lot to be said as well for applying those principles to your personal life. So if you can afford it, then a cleaner is brilliant. Even just a couple of times a month or whatever. And I think like learning to delegate using your children to help you with chores and husband and etc.
Absolutely. And that's one thing that I go through. It's a task that I could set all of you today, to be fair, if you fancy some homework.
Yeah, go on. Yeah.
We'll give you all some homework.
Yeah.
Spend a week writing down absolutely everything you do. It sounds insane and so counterintuitive for somebody with organised in their job title to be doing. Yeah. But write down, have a pen and paper somewhere near you all the time, and write down absolutely everything you do and how long it took. I put it in the kitchen, and I still do it now if I'm feeling a bit overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Then when after that week's done, go back through and highlight 4 colour highlights. I love a good highlight. And highlight them into 4 categories. Things that only you can do.
Yeah.
Which you have to be really strict. That's like showering and exercising. That's
it's really like personal life.
Yeah. It's things like cooking dinner. Okay, in my house that falls on me because I'm the only person I would trust with an oven in my having a 6-year-old and a 3-year-old. But if you have a partner at home, yes, it may fall on you, but it is physically something somebody else can do. So be really strict with that. The second category needs to be something that you could do less of. So cleaning is the big example there. Yeah. If you're somebody that's like, I need to hoover every day, physically you could do less of it.
Yeah.
Something that you could delegate or share within your family. There are always things you could share, even if you feel like hold my hand up here. So I may as well do it myself because it'll get done right the first time.
I'm a little bit like that. I do get that. Yeah.
That is a big one to let go of. And then finally, something that you could outsource. So things like the cleaning, even things like food shopping. Subscription boxes now can come to our doors. So yeah. I'm not saying you have to outsource everything, but it's just knowing that that facility is there. And then going through and picking something from each category and dealing with it. So if it's something that only you could do, it's putting that into a schedule, making that an allocated time and day where that thing happens to make sure it becomes a routine and a habit.
Yeah.
And things that you could do less of, just do less of something and see how it feels. You might actually feel fine. And there you go, you've saved a chunk of time without even really doing anything. Yeah, and then, of course, delegating is just about having the conversation with other people in your household. And outsourcing is maybe trying to work towards it. And if you've got the budget, do it straight away. And if you haven't, maybe you can work towards that and have that in your mind as a goal. So it's about writing down what you are actually getting done and actually realizing that a lot of it is not actually something that only you can do, no matter how you might feel like it.
Yeah, absolutely. Really good advice. Thank you.
There you go. There's your homework.
Yeah, I'm just like, my mind's like really whirring now. That's brilliant. Really like
it all starts with that list. It sounds crazy. People are like, no, what? Why would I write down what I'm getting done, not just a to-do list of what I need to do?
No, that just makes sense. Do you know what I'm like? When it was the pandemic and there wasn't a lot to do, I got into cleaning once a week, and then it was quite hard to then I thought I can't keep sustaining it for once a week. So then I dropped down to once a fortnight, and now I've got somebody in now that's brilliant that just does it every fortnight. But it is like about letting go, isn't it? And sometimes
exactly the key is letting go of that, like say the perfectionism and feeling like you have to do everything, because you don't. And the reality is, let's look at Beyoncé. I'm sure she is not doing her cleaning and her food shopping, but she looks like she's killing it, and her kids still love her. And that's what you've got to look at. It's the big successful people out there that look like they've got a great family life and a great career. It's because they've let go of everything else underneath that. So you have to decide is which one of those things that you've written down over the last week are most important to you to maintain to yourself.
Brilliant. So you mentioned that systems are often in place at work, but personal lives can get overlooked. So we talked a little bit about creating, not a timetable, but looking at how we spend our time. What other good practices should we apply to our personal lives that maybe we're using in the workplace to help us feel less overwhelmed?
Yeah. For me, it's planners. And I have a crazy planner addiction, so you probably shouldn't look at my array of planners as good advice. But whether you are an electronic person, pen and paper person, I'm a pen and paper person, or whether you want to use different programs. I mean, it sounds insane, but there are software like Trello or Asana that people use for businesses to organize their time and their projects. But you can apply that to your everyday life as well. So what I recommend with planning, although the end result is time blocking. So a lot of us, when we go to work, might time block our day. We know we've got a meeting at 12. We know we've got to leave at 5, and then you might slot in your tasks, or you might have a routine that you do week in, week out. It's about turning your life into that. And it sounds crazy, but it works. And so I have a time blocked session for work, and that's ignored. But in my life time blocking planner, it starts at 6 a.m, it ends at 11 p.m. I may be asleep for some of those times, but in my working hours, I just time block that out as work. And then let's say 6 a.m till 9 a.m, that's in as morning routine. But you have to do the work behind that and know what your morning routine is going to be, because actually that's a whole other topic that I won't cover. I like to digress. But the power of routines and turning your things that you do day in, day out into routine makes it become a habit. And then you can just slot that into your day, into a specific section of your day. But every week, every Sunday, I plan out my week, you put it in a planner, and then you know what you have to already do. And those can then each night before you go to bed, if you write out the hours of the day on just a scrappy bit of paper, it doesn't have to be anything posh. Write in what you have to do each day. And then you've got then the gaps, what are left, to then go and grab something from your to-do list. So many people will have a big to-do list that they will write out every single day and then get nothing done and feel like they failed for the day.
Very overwhelming, isn't it? Especially at this time of year, to be honest. I
banish to-do lists. We don't have them. We call them brain dumps, and they're put somewhere safe away. But actually, once you time block out your day, you can see what you have to do, and then you can go to a to-do list that isn't there in the forefront of your mind and pick the right things that slot in at the right times. And then you don't feel like you failed, because you know you've only been able to fit in those tasks. It will also make you prioritize much better, because you'll be picking out what is actually important to you.
From your brain dump list. That's quite good. I like that.
It's like treating your life as a job.
There's so much on, isn't there? So that's really good. And in terms of, we've talked a bit about how people's priorities changed during the pandemic and how people maybe reassessed what they want. So this maybe is a bit more of an aspirational thing. So thinking about, our lives maybe at the moment, how we want our lives to look. How should we start thinking about how to plan our days so it's aligned more with the types of lives we want to have?
Oh, that's a big question, isn't it? I think it goes back to goal setting. And again, I could talk all day about the importance of goals and a plan. But the best thing I could suggest is going back to the beginning and writing down top 5 goals and putting them in priority order. Once you've got those top 5 goals, is then breaking them down into baby steps. Like I use the quote all the time, and it's so cliche, but it's true, is 1,000 baby steps gets you to the same place as taking 5 big steps and feeling burnt out at the other end of it. So in terms of planning towards them, it's breaking it down and putting them into smaller sections and fitting them into the day with these time blocking skills that I teach.
And don't they say as well, a habit, if you do it, is it only like 4 weeks or something
Yeah,
like that?
so that's what I was saying with the with routines. So the more you do, basically we can only make a finite amount of decisions a day. And so like you're making a decision now, chatting to me.
Yeah.
To continue, that is a decision that you're making. We can only make a finite, and that's why by the end of the day we feel absolutely shattered and can't make any decisions. So by making something routine, which you do at the same time every day, every week, or however it's going to be, you do it enough, it becomes a habit. So things like cleaning your teeth, you wouldn't think of that as taking out 2 minutes out of your day or 5 minutes by the time you've done it twice. You wouldn't even think about it. Same with showering, unless you've got a newborn, of course. Maybe then you feel like it's taking time out your day. But because you do them so much, they become a habit. And when it becomes a habit, not only do you do it quicker, it then takes that brain power out of you, so which gives you then the functionality to focus on other things that are more important to you. So it's about making the mundane everyday things that you have to do, turning them into a routine, to turn them into a habit. And then that gives you the time and attention to focus on something that's maybe more important to you.
Wow, that's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah.
It sort of frees up your brain to do other bits.
Yeah. I mean, that's in a very brief format, but yeah.
That's really good. You have to obviously get into these habits before and take the time to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And so it's about systemizing what you have to do. And that's why you go through that list at the very beginning and decide what do you have to do. And by making those things into a routine and a habit, you can then start focusing on your future and what you want to achieve, and prioritizing them into your day. I always say with those time scheduling is picking 3 top priorities at the beginning of your day. And as long as you've done those, you win.
Brilliant. That's really good. I really love that advice. So what is next for you and the Organised company?
Oh, what is next? So next year, I am looking to launch a group course all on this. So to go from overwhelmed and stressed to organised and calm. It's something that's still being developed at the moment. Hopefully going to launch that summer next year. January is going to be a big physical home declutter season for me, because a lot of people will be looking for that. So it'll be January to March is going to be a busy season for me in people's homes. But I'm hoping to launch a course all about how to go from this chaos where you feel like you've got to do absolutely everything to leading a life that is what you want to do, and you feel aligned and organised and calm with that. So it's going to be a group program. It'll probably be like 8 weeks, lives with me, all that kind of thing.
And if anyone's got any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments. And
absolutely.
Talk about as well, you've got a really nice Facebook group as well. Do you want to tell people about Facebook?
I do, yes. It's called the TOC family, so the Organised Co for short. And it's basically where you can come get some advice, whether it's home organisation, life organisation. I come in every week and we cover a different topic. So it could be letting go, it could be routines, or it could be how to organise your kitchen. You get to vote every single week. So if you're in there and you're voting, you may well get your topic. I think last week we spoke about decluttering your digital world and your emails and your social media and things like that. So you can find me. It's just called TOC Family. You can search for it in there, or you can find me on the usual Facebook pages or Instagram pages as the Organised Co. Nothing fancy going on there.
I'll put a link to your website as well, so people can.
Oh, fantastic! Yes, and on that website there's some free guides.
You got some free guides? Did you say? Sorry, on your
website? On that website, if you go into the guide section, there's 3 free guides: declutter success, moving home, in case anybody happens to be doing that. But the most important one, which covers what we've talked about today, is my time-saving planners. It's just a guide of what we've kind of spoken about today to filter you down to be able to schedule your day a lot more effectively.
I've had a question. What's your view on multitasking?
Nobody can do it. Not well, we all think we can, but I'm a big believer in unitasking. I'm not sure if I made that term up, to be quite honest, but
What's unitasking?
Unitasking, the opposite of multitasking, is we all I don't know about you, but I was always guilty of this, where you'd walk into a room, you'd be like, right, I need to go put a load of washing on. You'd go to there and then realize that you haven't loaded the dishwasher. So you do that. Then it goes on and on. You realize 2 hours later, you've not put a load of washing on like you wanted to. And again, it comes back to time blocking. By time blocking your day, yes, it doesn't account for the odd load of washing, but it forces you to finish a task from start to finish instead of having a load of half-finished jobs on your hand. And you will feel so much calmer and stress-free and feel like you've achieved something in your day if you can say, I did these things, instead of feeling like you've achieved nothing. And that's what tends to happen when we multitask, is we don't finish anything.
Yeah. Someone said, do one thing properly.
Absolutely. Exactly that.
I agree with you. I don't think. Do you know what sometimes I do as well, which is naughty? I'll be watching TV and then I'll just pick up my phone and scroll or reply to an email or something, and then I realise I've like missed what was happening on.
Oh yeah, the amount of times I have pause on the TV.
Yeah, I have to rewind.
Yeah, and it's true. I mean, it's why homeschooling and that was so tough when we were trying to work, because our attention was split, and that's why you found you were working 10 hours a day instead of 5 hours a day, because you feel like you were working whilst your children were there, but actually your attention was split and you just weren't being as effective as you might have been.
Someone said, this is called being a busy fool trying to do everything. Planning is key.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I called it unitasking, but I have no idea if even that's a real word, but that's what I call it.
That word, I'll remember that. Unitasking. It's quite
easy. It's just about finishing everything. I think another little thing that I say just while we're on the topic of it is finishing it completely. So if your task is dinner, is having that enough in your schedule time to cook dinner, have dinner, and clear up dinner. And then that whole job is complete, rather than having it broken down into 3 sections. You might cook dinner in the morning and then you have your dinner, and then at 10 o'clock at night, you then need to wash up. It's then just done and off your list. It may not save time, but it makes you feel more productive.
Yeah. Good. Brilliant. Oh, I've loved all these tips. Thank you so much.
No, it's no problem.
So if anyone wants to connect with you, talk to you on Instagram, what's your Instagram handle?
It's at the Organised Co. And then I think there's an underscore after it as well, most bizarrely.
Okay, and
but you can find me on the Organised Co.
The Organised Co, and it's Talk Family, isn't it? The Facebook group.
Talk Family is the Facebook group. That is the place where you get the in-depth advice, and you can ask me anything about anything specific to you, and I'll be there.
Brilliant. All right, so there's a couple of ways that I don't think you're on LinkedIn as much, are you, or are you?
No, I have a profile on there, so I'd get notified if you got in contact with me, but I'm not there very much.
Yeah, brilliant. All right, so people know where to get in touch. So thank you so much for your time today, Emma. That was really, really useful. And thank you to everyone that has watched today and commented and asked questions. And obviously, if anyone wants to get in touch with you to find out a little bit more about what you can offer, your home decluttering service, is that around your home? What areas do you cover?
So I do digital services as well. They primarily are like do-it-yourself services, but it gives you my tailored advice on how to plan your space best and to put systems in place to make sure that you don't get cluttered again. But yes, the services with regards to life organisation are on the website as well.
Brilliant. All right, perfect. So people can find out a little bit more there. Brilliant. Well, thank you so much for your time, Emma, and thank you to everybody that has watched today. It's been an absolute pleasure, and I'll put Emma's contact details in the comments as well, so you can get in touch with her. Thank you
so much for having me.
All right. Thank you. See you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye.